So welcome to my 6th episode. As I lost my ego and was found by the self. In one of the last episodes, I told about the current of my life, and I told about my personal waterfall. I don't know if it's the right word. As I felt, but I talked a little bit around because there was a little bit resistance because it's related to my wife. And so I just ask myself, if I should tell this personal story. And the answer was yes. So I asked my wife for permission because it's personal, and she agreed. I did this episode already in German, and while doing that, a lot of emotions came up. So what? And after I made this episode, doubt was arising. So I said, oh, doubt. And if such an emotion is arising these days, I say, oh, what is happening? So I felt the doubt, and the doubt is one of the sidekicks of the hiding ego. So showing my emotion, the ego said, oh no, don't do that. I worked for your whole life on your ego. You are strong, you are tough, and now you show emotions. Don't do that. But consciousness is there, noticing what's happening. So I do it. Why not? So what happened to me and my wife, 2017, we were sitting in our living room watching film or something else, and suddenly my wife cramped. The whole body got tight, the eyes wide open, full of panic, fear, the mouth open, no sound coming out. I thought she had a stroke, called immediately 112, and the doctor was arriving 5 minutes later. She was relaxing, and she could speak again. So the doctor said, might be not a stroke, but nevertheless, she has to go to hospital. So he said it might be a neurological problem. So we went to the hospital, and around midnight, they made a computer tomography, and the doctor came to us and said he had a good and a bad message. Good and bad. In a way, it were just two messages, but good and bad. So she has a tumor. She has a tumor, or had a tumor, in the size of a mandarin, bigger than a golf ball in her right part of the brain. So the current of my life was accelerating. We were in the hand of God. I tried to control, but 2 weeks later, the surgery was scheduled. Yes. She was already in hospital, so I sat this morning in the living room. My 4 children were at school, so I was alone and I was waiting. And emotions were arising beyond control. I had no chance to control them. So I have already learned the Sedona method, which at the seminars of Herr Dworskin was practiced a little bit different. People come with problems created by the mind. So I earn not enough money. I didn't find yet the partner, my love of the life. Oh, so something like that. So in these days, I'm not looking for problems. I feel my body, not in the mind, body sensations. And this morning, emotions were coming beyond control. So I felt the only chance for me was to open. So I opened, and the emotions came like big waves: fear, desperation. Each time the wave was coming, I just opened and, yes, let them roll. So they rolled for a while, and then I calmed down. So the telephone was ringing, and the hospital called. The surgery was finished, and I can visit my wife. I went to the hospital. There's only a small time slot at the intensive care, 2 hours each day. The nurse showed me just waves. The nurse showed me where my wife was lying. So I went to her bed. She was lying there, no reaction. I took her hand, no reaction. So I knew emotions were coming up when I tell the story, but I just let them be. I open to them. I feel them. So my wife wasn't responding to me. I left her. I had to left her. I was desperate. So I called our homeopathic doctor, and he said he will call me if it's a woman, if she has an idea. So a few hours later she called me and told me a remedy. So I went to get it. The next day, my wife, the same, just were lying there in the space between life and death. Afterwards, she told me that the doctors were showing up at her bed. In a way, she noticed what was going around, but she couldn't respond, she couldn't react. And the doctors talked to each other saying, that might be not working out. She will not, she will, yes, she will not survive. Yes, how empathic to make such a remark in front of the patient who is struggling with life and death. So secretly, I put these 3 little pieces of remedy in her mouth. I don't want to discuss with doctors. And so again, I had her left here. I went home, trying to control my emotions. I tried to protect my children. I said, oh, everything's okay. I wasn't honest. I thought I should protect them. So my youngest son at this time was 7 years old. The next day, I went to the hospital and my wife was looking at me. Wonderful. It has been a miracle. So miracle happens sometimes. So the next 2 years, she struggled to gain life again. She was even driving a car again, and she got a new job. She would be where she taking work the next weeks. So we did our regular MRT 2019, and the doctor came to us and said, just waves. I feel them, and now I recognize that all these emotions I had suppressed in my subconsciousness, now they are coming up. So what? These times I tried to control them, and on the surface that might have been worked, but it hasn't worked. So I was functioning when I don't have to talk about it, and in these times, every time I talk about it, I lost control. I cried. I cried in front of my colleagues. I cried in front of my boss, and so what? This wasn't my problem, crying. I made not a problem out of it. It was the problem of the person in front of me. And most were full of compassion. They hugged me. Some persons were embraced. So what? So 6 more tumors. One of the nerve of her left, the tumors were in the left part of the brain. So one of the nerve of the eyes. So again surgery. And this wasn't the second surgery. It was the seventh or eighth surgery because complications. I still can't understand how my wife could bear all these surgeries again and again the day before the operation. How might she wake up? Would she wake up? So, 6 more tumors. And since the last MRT was 6 months before, they were fast growing. So the neurosurgeon told us he had to remove them, otherwise they will grow and grow. So again, opening of the skull, this time going into the brain. And again, I was waiting. Emotions were coming up. No control. I was falling again down the waterfall. I don't know if waterfall even exists in English language, but Wasserfall, it's in German, so I fell. Yes, and again, they called me. I drove to the hospital, and there was my wife, like, just another day. I did this in German, and this was just to say, it's there are a lot of emotions suppressed, so they're coming up, and I release them. I don't even have to. I just relax, and if I try to, if I go in resistance, my body is tightens, and I can feel that. And if I'm relaxing, open, breathing, not holding the breath, then it gets worse. And that's about the emotions. If I don't label them, I let them just coming up. Emotions, yes. So the day before the surgery, this was the last time my wife was talking to me after the surgery. She lost her speech. The only two words she can still tell. She can say yes or no, but each thought she might have will not come out of her mouth again. The complete right side was numb. Since then she hasn't moved her right arm. Her right leg is numb. It's a little wonder because with her stock going aid, she can do a little walk in our house. Outside, I had to guide her. If something a little bit of height difference is on the floor, she will fall. So I became the caretaker of my wife. She was transferred lying in the rehab recreation hospital. I don't know. In the wheelchair. At first, it took a long time until she can a little bit walking, no talking. And again, complications, surgery. We have now 12 surgeries, and the tumor at her left eye still growing. So she got radiation. At the first radiation, the nerve of the eye was not getting full impact, but as he still grows, the second radiation, the doctor said full impact or not. So her eyesight was in danger. And fortunately, she can still use her eyes. She has not full eyesight, but she can look and see. And time went by. I was full working. Each day I drove 1 hour to hospital and back. I was looking for our household, for our children. I was looking at my wife. My children were functioning. And in a way, I didn't saw really my children. I thought they were functioning. But we didn't talk about our feelings or emotions. At these times, I was conscious. Sometimes I talk unconsciousness. I looked in the dictionary, this word doesn't exist. So it was unconsciousness. I wasn't even dealing with my own emotions, despite they were overwhelming. Then I had no chance, I let them run, but I was not really feeling it. Sometimes I was going for a walk in the wild, in the forest, crying, so that my children don't see it. I cried also in front of them. So what? Yes, I did this for 1 year. And then in German it's the saying, wer nicht hören will, muss fühlen. I tried to translate it. Someone who doesn't hear has to feel. And my soul was crying. So my body was just pulling my plug. The next day, I even cannot climbing anymore the not the chairs, the stairs. Yes. So I was still the caretaker of my wife. I saw no other chance, but I was really down. Working was impossible. But even then, I tried to hold control, and I was saying to my doctor, "Oh, please, I can't work for 2 weeks. Write me I don't know the word in English." And each 2 weeks I repeated this, and I didn't understood that I did totally discharge my batteries. So after this was going for a while, my doctor said to me 2 ways. One way, I will still continue as I have done before, and then I will be totally down. Or she will take me out for 6 months out of work, and I might get back to normal. So then I understood that it was impossible to go on in this way. So slowly I was regaining energy, and after half a year I started slowly to work again. But again my mind said, oh, it has to be faster, you have to get back faster, and I did it. And again my body said, no, that won't work. So again I was ill for another 6 months, and then again I started working, but very slowly. I increased the amount of hours, and even these days I'm not working full hours. Yes. So I wasn't feeling myself. And that's the, the gift of the divine is the body. It's the wisdom of the body which is connecting to my soul and in a way to my subconscious. Now I allow myself to feel the emotions if they were coming up. And a few weeks or months in the past, I was meditating in the evening, and my wife was arising in my consciousness. So I said, okay, look at her, feel what's going on. And to my surprise, there was a lot of grief. There was a lot of grief, and I even had a slightest glimpse that this grief was existing. So I was totally suppressing these emotions in a way to function, to regain control. What a madness. And the mind says, what grief? Your wife is still alive? Why do you feel grief? Grief was there. Grief wants to be felt. So I felt the grief. And in a way, I still feel grief. My wife is still with me. I take care of her. Just another way. And I can feel that I can't let her go yet. And I don't have to. No control. Just receiving the emotions, just feeling the emotions. And as soon as I relax, they were just dissolving. Just another wave of emotion. And not labeling them. Grief or fear is not a bad emotion. It's just an emotion. Just an emotion. The be felt, to be seen. And before the mind said, for the hiding ego, oh, don't do that. They might hurt you. Don't feel them. Suppress them. That was not the clear message, but that had been happening then. Has been happening. So now they were coming up. So perhaps I had to do these recordings too, so that they are coming up. I was unconsciousness. Nee, I was unconscious. I was unconscious. Oh, doesn't matter. Just words. I wasn't able to feel them. And in a way, that has been so for my whole life. The ego says, oh, I'm protect you. No, before these emotions, no. I have, doesn't matter. No. That's creating turmoil and problems again and again. And the emotions and the subconsciousness, they want to be felt, and if I don't feel them, they are coming up and just control me. So this hasn't worked. And in a way, it might sound a little bit crazy, but it was a gift. When I look back now, this falling and this feeling created the first crack in my ego. I had been feeling my emotions. I had no chance to avoid it. My wife cannot talk about her emotions. She can't. If she smiles, my heart explodes of joy. If she cries, sometimes I can just feel compassion. Sometimes I'm suffering too. So what? I suffer. Now, consciousness is my companion. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Sometimes ego gaining again control. Trying to protect the image the ego has created of me. And the ego says, you have to believe in the image. That's you. That's me. No. I'm not a picture created by the ego. The picture is standing, not changing, and I'm constantly changing. So understanding is arising and arising. Insights are coming up. So the ego says, oh, insights, keep them, protect them. No, everything just flows. I release everything. No insight to be kept as a treasure. I like the saying of Gollum, of the Lord of the Rings. In German is mein Schatz. I don't know is it right in English if I said my treasure. My treasure. Under normal conditions, you might say, oh, if you have the treasure, you're happy. No. Suffering, endless suffering. Because the treasure is not enough. I need more. Mine and more. And in a way, now I am feeling my world. I am seeing my world. The decades before, I was just looking at my image of my wife. And she also is constantly changing. And in the past, there were two images communicating with each other, and sometimes it works, sometimes not. Now I'm talking about my feelings to her, which makes her cry. Just feeling. Just feeling. And in the madness of duality, in Germany there is the saying, ein Indianer kennt keinen Schmerz. I don't know where this comes from. I try to translate it. It's not an Indian. That's the people of India. It's the natives of America. I don't know the right word. So I say the Indian. An Indian doesn't feel pain. So in this way, the children were educated. Don't feel your emotions. And then there is this entertaining industry. They producing all these artificial feelings. And then we are allowed to feel the external feelings. Love, fear, action, crime, desperation. What a craziness. Not feeling our own emotion, but looking at the emotion of other people. And then you fall. What? No, I told about So I was also looking all of these films and serials. These days I can't hear them anymore. All this violence. I don't need this anymore because my own emotions are definitely enough to be felt for me. And they are coming up in a way so that I can feel them. So I don't know how long this healing journey might endure or take. It doesn't matter. Fortunately, I don't know what I have been hiding in my subconsciousness. I have no direct access, so just surrendering, just feeling my body sensations, emotions might arise. It doesn't matter if these are my own emotions or sometimes I don't know where they came. It doesn't matter. What is arising is arising. And I allow myself to feel whatever is arising. And this, I don't like the word process. It sounds so technical. But this process just was evolving. There was no attention. There was no teacher from the outside. In a way, I don't know if I told about it. In a way, I felt my whole life there is a teacher waiting for me. A teacher who will teach me. And this teacher, I didn't understand that the last month or years. The teacher was arising. And it was myself. Myself. Which was, in a way, guiding me. No words. In a way, I felt that there will be no words. I didn't understand that. How could I? I wasn't able, I was even not able to feel my feelings, my emotions. But I had this certainty that my master will be showing up. And I'm quite sure that nothing of this is my invention, my discovery. No, I'm quite sure this has happened, perhaps, that's my mind again, thousands or 10,000s or hundreds or millions time before. Self feeling itself. And it is like the moment oneness was opening up, and the thought arise, I am looking at myself. no separation, just feeling. So loneliness was one of my big topics in my life. Now I can feel that loneliness is leaving. Consciousness is there, and consciousness is beyond changing. There is no change. Changing is individuality. How can there be change if there nothing is separate? One. Not even the one. No, just one. Oneness. That's all. So, I told before, I'm sitting at the shore of the river of life. Sometimes I jump again in the boat, even start rowing. So what? These days, I know I can feel that. And this moment, I'm not anymore in the current of life. I'm at the shore. And if consciousness is arising, the river disappears. And the shore of the river is, in a way, or I would like to see endless. I don't know if it's endless. It doesn't matter. But I can feel other people, woman and man, are also sitting on the shore of the river of life. Some just sitting, no talking, just being. Some shouting to the people struggling in the river of life. Oh, that's the wrong direction, not upwards, downwards. I might shout, you don't need to row. The current will take you anyway downwards. I'm not shouting at anyone. In a way, I'm just talking to myself. I have this webcam running, so just telling stories. That's all. I don't know how long my wife might be with me. And I was blessed, even 2017 or 2019, that my mind wasn't looking in the future, creating horrible predictions what might happen. I don't know what might happen to me or to my wife. She's still with me. I'm grateful. So one day she will let go of her life. And I can feel, even if it's in the future, that I will be able to let her go. Just another wave of emotion. Relaxing. feeling it. And then it vanishes. Vanishes. I don't know. Yes. And that's very relaxing. Not trying to control anything, not trying to control emotions. No. And in front of the webcam, it's a little bit different. There's some, I can feel it in my body. I can feel the contraction, the muscle tightening if I try to hold them or to go in resistance. And that's the benefit of the, I might call it training in the meditation. If a feeling arises, if a tension arises in my body, just relaxing. Just relaxing. Feeling, surrendering, and let it go. Release it.